You've been given the opportunity to pitch to your dream client, and you've got a 10-day runway to prepare a pitch that is going to blow their minds. And what do? You get to work straight away? Absolutely not. You wait and wait and wait until 2 days before the due date, and then you're under pressure and under stress to create that powerful presentation. If you've seen this in yourself, or if you've noticed it in others, then you're in the right place. This is a dynamic that I see in so many high performing women that I coach, that it's more common than not that this scenario is going to arise in your world while you're building your business. And that's what we're going to unpack today, because this is not you sabotaging yourself. It is not you being lazy. It is not you procrastinating. There is something else going on inside you that you're not yet aware of. And I'm going to share that with you today. If we've not met before, my name is Tanya Adams. I'm a neuroscience-based coach and the founder of the Freedom Collective, where I help women like you build businesses that create abundance, freedom, and joy in their lives. We get away from the hustle and grind and create joy and peace of mind and impact in your business. This dynamic that I refer to is so common in the women that I coach that it's more common than not. The other one that I see, and maybe this is you, if you're not somebody who's procrastinated the big deal, maybe you're that person who, when you get a day off or when you've got some blank space, you feel so guilty about resting that you find a way to get busy again. This comes from the very same place that our procrastination scenario comes from. And it's all about what's happening inside your brain on a subconscious level that's designed not to sabotage you, but it's designed to protect you. Allow me to explain. The brain is hardwired for safety, and how it keeps you safe is by predicting things based on its old memories, based on what's happened before. And throughout our lives, our brains store evidence of this thing happened and this is how it made me feel. This thing happened and this is where we ended up. And so it creates and sets up a database, if you like, of all sorts of results and evidence of what could happen if that thing happened. And then it literally kicks into gear as our personal protection detail, very much like our own security guard system that is going to keep us safe all the time. What does this mean? It means that in the moment where we are given something that looks unfamiliar, the brain goes back to itself to say, well, what is this? And it does not have the ability to determine an actual threat from a scenario where it doesn't have predictable data going forward. And so it signals the same alarm if we're faced with danger or if we're faced with unpredictability. And that alarm is going to either cause us to fight or to run or to completely just stall in our tracks. Procrastination is a form of freeze because what it is, it's your brain trying to stop you from going into a scenario where it feels you might be in danger. So that big pitch that you've got for your client, underneath all of that is a deep fear of failure or a deep fear of not getting the client. And so what we do is stall, stop. Our brains want to protect us from that sense of psychological failure. The same is true when we have that sensation that we feel guilty about not working. Here you are, an entrepreneur, set up a business so that you could have freedom of time. And the moment the freedom of time is presented to you, you feel guilty. And suddenly you're into hyperaction and want to look for things to be busy about. And this is your brain's way of protecting you from a sense of what if it all goes away? If I stopped working, what would happen? And all of this comes from the evidence that we've learned over the years that in order to be successful, I have to be super busy. We've made these agreements and associations in our brains. In order to be successful, I must be busy. What if I fail? What if this thing doesn't work? And all of these thoughts float around inside our nervous system, and our nervous system's job is to protect us. So how do you deal with this? Because these things happen on a loop. And I have been through this myself where I've gone through these loops. And I'm sure that this is not the only time that the procrastination has happened or the guilt around rest has happened. Because your nervous system, if if it's presented with something that objectively and logically looks good, like the great pitch. If you have an association with work is stressful, success is stressful, we can only have success under stress conditions, your brain is going to engineer circumstances to put you back there exactly where you are familiar. And so it will not let you work in advance. It will not let you work until right up until the stress point, because then it's predictable for the brain. It knows how to operate in that scenario. So how do we deal with this? Well, this is exactly what I deal with in the Freedom Collective. And the first place we start in the Freedom Collective is helping you to rewire your brain and reset your nervous system so that your brain is playing in alignment with where you're going and not holding you back. And the real important thing to remember here is that that protection system in your head it's old. It's from a piece of you and a past that no longer exists. Right now, you are highly capable, highly skilled, and highly attuned with what you need to do in order to have the success that you desire, though that part of your brain is still operating in the past. So in the Freedom Collective, we deal with a 3-part success system, which starts with rewiring your brain. It starts with resetting your nervous system and then overlaying a strategy that's unique to you. Because you know why? It doesn't matter what textbook you read. It doesn't matter how many courses you do. You are a unique human being. And although business may be on a broad scale very similar in structure, a strategy that works for somebody that you saw on the internet does not necessarily work for you based on your nervous system and how your brain is wired. So we overlay a strategy over that, and then we hold it all together in a community because our brains are socially wired. And so the group energy and the group dynamic helps support us to settle and find a state of safety inside our nervous systems. And the steps that we go through for this, if you're sitting there going, okay, well, how do I do this for myself at home? Well, the first thing to do is to become aware of the loop. Go back and sit with your journal and have a look at where these kinds of repeating patterns happen. And sometimes it leaves us with a feeling of, if I know what to do, then why don't I do it? If I know better, why don't I do better? So sit with your journal. You will see these repetitive patterns happen over and over and over again. And then the thing is to just stop and tell the truth. Ask yourself, what am I most afraid of here? What is my nervous system trying to protect me from? Is it failure? Is it loss? Is it embarrassment? Is it shame? And see that you can identify what those things are. Once you've identified it, that's when you are able to sit and settle your nervous system and start to talk back to yourself in reassuring language so that your brain starts to learn to do the things that it needs to do. And then, of course, act. So in this moment, it's going to feel very uncomfortable. If you are going to start that prep early for that pitch, I can tell you now that everything in you is going to scream at you. You're going to have no motivation. You'll have no creativity. You won't feel like doing it. You won't want to do it because that is the power of your internal protection system. However, it's up to you now to take control because that part of you, it's time to retire it. It's not relevant anymore. So sit down, take a couple of deep breaths and do the work even though you don't feel like doing it. Sit down, take a couple of deep breaths and take that rest, even though everything inside you is screaming. Why? Because you have to rebuild neural networks by action. And once you do this over and over, what starts to happen is a new neural network will start to be built. And this is the work that we do in the Freedom Collective. So I am having a free webinar. It's called the Freedom Success Formula, where I talk about the exact blueprint to create this. The link will be down in the comments. So register your spot for this. It is a phenomenal workshop. And if you need help, then tune into that workshop or reach out to me directly. If you're having trouble doing this individually or with your journal, reach out to me. Maybe I can help you with some one-on-one coaching, or I can direct you through to the Freedom Collective. And you know what? If this stuff helps you, then please subscribe to the channel. I release a new video every single Monday on one of these topics to help you create a business for yourself and a life that's got abundance, freedom, and joy. And then let me know in the comments, what is your favorite mode of self-protection? Not self-sabotage, self-protection. Is it over busyness? Is it over control? Is it procrastination? I would love to know, because all of these are just your protection mechanism kicking in to keep you safe in the way that it has learned in the past. Have a happy day, and I'll see you next week.